Hi everyone, my name is Thomas Kim. Today is July 23rd, 2019. This is my 13th episode about graph in C++. In this episode, we will learn how to overcome the limitations of C++ standard libraries type functions. In our previous episode, we learned about function overloading using spinner, and we also learned how to implement std enable if t. In this episode, we will learn what is type list and how to use type list to overcome the limitations of C++ standard libraries type functions. We will also learn how to use if constexpr. If you haven't watched my previous video, please double-click this link and watch this video because current session continues from my previous episode. Okay, let's get started. Start Visual Studio Code. On the CPP extension, Graph folder, please select Graph folder. Click this button. 13 type list.cpp. Hit enter. Ctrl V. Include talk play fun output HPP. We will first learn what is type list. Void test what is type list. int main talk play fun ss stream auto ender talk play fun ender. So we can define a type list like this using types t. I will introduce a namespace alias here. Namespace types talk play fun types. Then here types type list. We can define a type list. Short, int, unsigned, long, unsigned long, unsigned long. From this type list, I would say integer type list. Integer type list. Then I will define another type list using real types t. Types type list t float double. From this type list, we can test if certain types are included in the type list, like this. Stream is int in integer types t. We can test like this. Types is in list b. We test int integer types t. And there I will copy once again. Is int in real types t. Then real types t. Now I will copy once again. Is float in integer type list. Then it should be float. Is float in real type t. Float. Now we can call this function. I will copy this function. Copied and pasted it here. Start command prompt. clang++, SED, C++ 17, 13, type, list.cpp, hit enter. CLS, let's examine it. We defined integer types t here and real type t here. Now in here we are testing if int is included in this type list. Is int in integer types t, the return value is true. Is int in real types t, return value is false. Is float in integer types t, false. Is float in real types t, true. In case of C++ standard, C++ standard type trace, type functions do not provide this type list. Okay, so we can overcome the limitation of C++ standard libraries type functions like this. So in our previous episode, in this episode, we learned how to use enable if t and spin to overload functions. Now we can define like this: template, type name type, type name types, using enable if in types t, std, enable if t types type types type. This is return type is in list v. Okay, if this type is one of these types, then this evaluates to true, then this enables type functions. I have to remove one dot here. Now with this enable if in types t, we can define type list like this: template, type name type, enable if in types t, type, short, unsigned short, int, unsigned long, unsigned long, long long, unsigned long long. This is return type. Then remainder type n, type d, return n modulo d. We can define another one. I copied, pasted it here. Now it becomes float. Float double. Okay, now here long long, quotient n long long, n divided by d, we return n minus d times q times d. So we now overloaded two functions using type list, void test remainder we can test like this: stream the remainder over 7 divided by 4.0, 7.0 divided by 4 is remainder 7.0, 4.0, and there stream the remainder over 7 divided by 4 is remainder 7, 4, and there. Now we call this function in the command prompt cls. So the remainder of 7 divided by 4 is 3. Remainder of 7 divided by 4 is 3. In this case, this function is for type float and double. In this case, for short, unsigned short, int, unsigned long, unsigned long, long long, unsigned long long. For integral type, for integral type, for real type. We can also create the same function using if constexpr like this. Here, right before function main, template, type name type, remainder fn, type n, type d. We can define type list like this. Types using integral types. Type list b, short, unsigned short, int, unsigned long, unsigned long, long long, unsigned long long. We defined a type list for integral type using real types. Type list, float, double. If constexpr types is in list b type, we have to provide integral types. If type is of integral types, then we can return n modulo d. Else if constexpr types is in list b type, real types, long long, long long, n divided by d, return n minus, it should be q times d. static, assert, pulse. Type should be either integral or floating point type. Void test remainder fn. I think I made a mistake here. It should be parentheses. Now I will copy this part of code, copy, and paste it here. It can be remainder fn, remainder fn. This function, I will fix this function name. We fixed like this. Now we are calling this function. This is for integral type. This is for type real, floating point type. Otherwise, it fails. I will copy this function name, paste. I will disable it. Build once again. 67, 7. I need a semicolon here. Now let's build once again. Sorry. I will copy both part. Copy. Paste. Or I will copy this part like this. Now let's run it once again. Okay. So remainder of 7 divided by 4 is 3. Remainder of 7 divided by 4 is 3. So we are calling this function. This function calls this function. This function handles both integral type, real type, floating point type. In this case, we used is in list B, this type list function. This type list function is not defined in C++ standard library. Type list functions are very useful for advanced C++ programming. You can learn more about type list functions in my YouTube channel. In playlist, please click this link, type function, C++ type function, modern C++ programming. You can find how to implement type functions, type list, beginning episode 24. Through episode 24 to episode 30, I explained how to implement type list functions. I will upload complete source code of this episode to my website extensiontalkplayfun.com. By the time you watch this video, you can click this link and download complete source code. If you unzip it, you can find the complete source code of this episode under graphics subfolder. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you for watching.